this is Logan at ORNA, and today's topic is setup. I'm going to walk you through the setup steps and show you how easy it is to get started with ORNA. It's also been a while since our last video, so I'll walk you through the updates and some of the improvements we've made. Now, ORNA is not your typical CM or a source system. The purpose of ORNA is to actually provide everything that you need and your extended team needs across all business functions to detect, respond to, investigate, contain, analyze and report on cyber threats and even prevent them in the future using the NIST cybersecurity framework. We have a whole host of tools built in here and 200 plus integrations if you already have something like an EDR or an XDR system. And it's very easy to integrate and kind of plug that data into ORNA. But we also have our own detection capabilities. Now, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but step one of the setup is to determine what roles your team will actually be using within ORNA. Now, ORNA is a cross-functional platform, so it is intended to cover all aspects of cyber incident response from, of course, InfoSec and IT, but also executive risk management, legal and compliance, HR where applicable, for example, in insider threat scenarios, and even third parties. Because of that, ORNA comes with a number of built-in cross-functional roles, such as CEO, HR, naturally core cyber incident response team member, which would be, let's say, a technical individual on your team, but also managed security services, third-party IT, and even some industry-specific ones, like perhaps you have an elevator control engineer, for example. It's also very easy to customize these roles and create new roles simply by clicking this plus button, and you can really fit ORNA to match your organizational structure and escalation procedures. So step one is essentially going through your team and sort of filling out this information. We have hours availability per month, like how many hours can this individual or is expected to spend on responding to cyber attacks or investigating them. This can vary wildly depending on their role, but also automatic escalation procedures such as should they receive email notifications about alerts and incidents, or maybe SMS notifications, should they be notified when somebody mentions them in a comment or responds to their comment. And again, naturally, you can assign as many roles as you'd like to each individual here. Step two is uploading your assets onto ORNA. Now, there are multiple ways to do that. If you already have a system such as ServiceNow, for example, or perhaps just a good old traditional Excel spreadsheet with your assets, then you can very easily either add them manually here and select various asset types. Like if it's a hardware asset, for example, we're going to request some additional information, or you can import them from CSV. Simply upload the file. We'll detect any and all errors. You will be prompted to resolve them in real time right within this UI, so you're never going to have to re-upload that file again, and the assets will be automatically imported. Another option is to simply run our agent, monitoring agent, which we call Scout executable, which will automatically discover all of the applicable assets, risk score them, and import them into ORNA, just like that. The agent will then establish monitoring telemetry on all of these assets and display the status of the agent here in real time. So in this case, for instance, if it's the CEO's laptop, it's going to have multiple applicable tags assigned to it, and of course there's a history as well for every single entity within ORNA, so that you can maintain that chain of custody and changes if requested. Each of the assets include a whole host of additional information. For example, if you click on this one, you can see type of the asset, any applicable tags, when was the last alert received for that asset, obviously IP information and other relevant information here, but as well as all of the alerts and all of the possible incidents that this asset was involved in. I literally dropped my mic. This is non-scripted. I'm just sitting in my chair narrating this stuff, so I do apologize for the informal style. Nevertheless, you have all of this information in a single spot, so it's very easy to track which of your assets have experienced the most incidents, for example, and which specific alerts they have experienced, and what have you. Of course, you also have a combined dashboard where you can see your top 5 most compromised assets, for example, and this effectively acts as an asset risk scoring and monitoring system. And again, we do have 200 plus integrations with various ITSM tools, for example. But so step one was to add your team. They receive an email notification. They can set up their account very easily, and there are role specific, I should say, onboarding flows. So, for example, your business professionals and business oriented team members will not see the same dashboards. They will see relevant information to their role, and your technical individuals likewise. So step one is to add your team. Step two is to manually or automatically import your assets. Now, once the telemetry is established, you can very easily see, well, first of all, there's a combined dashboard here for just general incident resolution status. And quick pro tip, you can actually configure and customize any of the tables within ORNA and any of the views within ORNA to be relevant to you, and they're user specific, so you don't have to worry that other analysts, for example, in your SOC or other team members will see the same changes. So this is personal to you. But like I said, once you establish the telemetry, you can see this alerts screen. So here you can toggle between alerts and security events, for example, and that's going to take a moment to explain. Now, we differentiate between security events, which may or may not become alerts, and alerts themselves. Typically, we receive hundreds of thousands or even millions of security events from each individual customer on a day-to-day basis. Now, these events are automatically analyzed by our cross-correlation and deduplication engine, which uses machine learning and artificial intelligence technology that is proprietary to us. And ultimately, these alerts produced from a combination of analyzed events. So for instance, like if you expand any one of them, then you can easily see that some of these alerts have hundreds of events in them, and some of them will have thousands of events in them. They can also be linked to specific incidents and obviously assets, and all of the assets are color coded in accordance to their risk level as well. Let's configure this so that I can find something interesting. Let's see, we're going to go to December 2021. You can of course configure a specific range of time that you want to see the alerts and events in, and you can also group them in various ways. You can have different specific alert groups such as pertaining to a particular investigation or individual. You can also group them by assets and see at a glance which specific assets experience the most incidents. You can also configure them by detection rules and automate escalations based on that. And of course, there's a dashboard here, so you can see which of your assets get attacked the most, or which specific assets, for example, and asset types get compromised. If you have any integrations or any other sources like Suricata or maybe OSSEC agents like we do here, then you'll see them here as well. We also integrate with companies like Trend Micro, for example, Trend Micro's Vision One, Deep Instinct, and a ton of other XDR and EDR solutions. You can also see tactics that that are used to attack your assets here. But so let's click on one of the alerts. Like this alert, for example, is produced, and this is test data, right? It's produced based on a single event, but there could have been thousands or millions of events here. And if we had any indicators of compromise that are applicable to this, you would also see them here. You can also see suspected incident severity here, which is, again, there's a description generated for each one of them, and you can see the suspected incident type. Now, each alert and each event is cross-referenced with 28 different sources, including dark web information, vulnerability databases such as CVE and CWE databases, for instance, across the MITRE kill chain and what have you. So we have a very high degree of confidence once the alert is generated in what it is and what the underlying issue is as well. Now, these alerts, according to your preferences and your team member preferences, get escalated to you or to your analysts. And you can very easily upgrade them to incidents, either automatically or manually. You can also request our 24/7 assistance, which is not just customer support. It's an actual digital forensics type assistance. And if you shoot us a message, we always respond within 15 minutes. We have folks working 24/7 on this. And the beauty of that is that our support center automatically has all of the context and all of the information that you see within the system, so you don't have to file a ticket or anything like that. It's a much more human way to receive that help. Anyway, once of these, one of these alerts eventually becomes severe enough to be considered an incident. Now, once you actually upgrade such an alert to an incident, something interesting happens. ORNA is based on a concept of playbooks, which are sort of scenario-based skeleton incident response procedures, and you can customize them too. I'll show you a bit later. But based on these playbooks, we take a look at your company's information, your region, for example, the data that was compromised on the assets, the type of let's say malware that was being used, the criticality and severity of this attack, and a ton of other factors. Then in addition to the automated containment measures, for example, such as isolating servers or blocking ports and what have you, some actions may need to be performed manually. For those, we automatically determine who should perform these actions and at which stage of the incident. And this follows the SANS incident response process from identification to containment to eradication to recovery to lessons learned. And there's a built-in chat, of course. And what we do then is we create sort of hyper-specific tasks for each of these individuals, and we automatically escalate them to these individuals via email or via an SMS message, for example. And once you go within these tasks, let's click on this one, each of these individuals can see the exact description of this task, the outcomes that are expected. They can leave notes. They can see any relevant evidence. This could be anything from malware executables in a sandbox environment, could be screenshots, could be log exports, and pretty much whatever that pertains to this task. They can also upload their own artifacts, of course. It's further broken down into specific tasks that pertain to this particular incident, this particular role, and this particular stage of the incident resolution process. So these can get as specific as go to a certain asset and run a certain script, and this is what you're going to see as a result. Again, there's a chat and comments functionality, so it makes it very easy to collaborate. Each of the tasks has a history and incidents, assets, role assignments. Any entity within ORNA has the type of history that is maintained for chain of custody purposes and reporting purposes. Now, as an incident commander, you can also see this Trello type board, so you can at all times and at every stage of the incident see who in your team is working on what. Are they blocked? You can of course reassign the tasks and see Eric here is working on 475 tasks, so he's got his work cut out for him. These tasks can be just freely moved by either you as an admin or certain roles, and needless to say, individuals can move their own tasks as well. And you proceed through the incident resolution process in this manner. Now, in addition to that, all of the artifacts that you upload are categorized here, and you can view them. Like we have logs here, for instance. You can download them in some cases, and you can execute them in a sandbox environment, in a safe environment. Now, same goes for communication templates, for example. In some of the breach scenarios, you need to issue notification letters to affected individuals, perhaps, or internal, external staff updates, or regulatory compliance type notifications. And you can first of all add and edit and upload your templates here. And again, ORNA comes with dozens of ready-made templates that your team can use, and they're plugged into the tasks. You can also integrate them with your Office 365 account or a MailChimp account, for example, and really automate these incident response notifications very easily. There's also reporting functionality. So at any point in an incident's lifecycle, you can generate a report, and it's up to you. I mean, it could be a very lightweight executive summary type report that's going to contain basic incident information and some escalations such as who was notified, who's working on what, and things like that. You can also customize the summary using artificial intelligence engine, and alternatively, you can produce a very detailed sort of digital forensics and incident report, which is something that sometimes in a normal environment in a regular team could take weeks to produce. This report could be hundreds of pages long for a major incident, and it would include information such as, first of all, incident details, escalation details, but also who was working on which tasks, what were the outcomes of the tasks, which steps did they take, when did they start, when did they finish, what was the evidence that was pertaining to that task and supporting it, and pretty much just going to show you the entire incident timeline and the entire progression in a single report that you can generate within seconds. This actually really saves a lot of time for digital forensic teams, for example, or security operations centers. Again, there's a dashboard overview of all of the incidents that are occurring at any time now or in the past. And also there's a reel of tasks that are outstanding for you. Now, between incidents, and thankfully no company is in a perpetual state of responding to a cyber incident at all times, we map all of the information that we've learned and plus some manual inputs to the NIST cybersecurity framework. So anybody at a glance, just by looking at this dashboard instead of like a 100-tab Excel spreadsheet, can tell you that this demo organization is doing pretty well on the recover side. It's a perfect score. Doesn't happen all that often, but nevertheless. However, could use some improvement on the protect side and the protect component of the NIST cybersecurity framework. So you can drill into the details, quite a bit. So here, for example, you can take a look and say, well, we have great awareness and training, but the data security aspect is kind of lacking. So you can click on that. You can see, well, it's actually the adequate log storage capacity that's not fulfilling a specific NIST requirement here. We also generate automatically improvement and mitigation recommendations here that once implemented, update the entire dashboard, and you can really track your NIST compliance and your risk mitigation status here all in a single dashboard. Now, finally, I've mentioned the playbooks. So any aspect of ORNA can be customized very easily. Of course, you're going to set up your company in a particular industry and size and time zone and what have you. You can configure notification requirements, for example, alert thresholds, based on what level of alerts you receive, and we have levels from 1 to 14 here. This correlates with the alerts dashboard. You can configure detection rules, such as, for example, let's say you have some automated process running in the cloud or in your on-premises environment that is not a threat, so you can flag it as safe, and these type of alerts will not generate incidents or security events. But the playbooks that I've mentioned that ORNA's processes are based on, you can customize them to the fullest extent possible through this built-in playbook designer. So if you already have existing playbooks, for instance, or incident response plans or digital forensics procedures, then you can very easily upload them here, and you can customize these playbooks, or we can do that for you. As a matter of fact, that's a service that we provide. And you can create new playbooks as well, either from scratch or from an existing playbook, such as, let's say, network IoT. And again, ORNA comes with a whole host of built-in playbooks right here. For each of these playbooks, you can customize these tasks across any stage to the fullest extent possible, including description, outcomes, complexity, type, hybrid role, and you can add and edit specific actions. And essentially, you can really build your cyber incident response framework here quite easily. ORNA also automatically and natively supports multi-tenancy. So if you're managing multiple organizations in a single dashboard, then you can very easily accomplish that as well. What else? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Well, either way, I suppose I'll leave you with that, and thank you very much for watching the video, and we hope that you liked it. Please subscribe. You can actually create a trial account on our website, and you can explore ORNA at your own pace, and please do not hesitate to get in touch with me, Jana, Martin, or anybody else on our team, and we'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you.